Okay, welcome back. My name is Oakley Dean Baldwin. I am an author and former law enforcement officer and former officer in the United States Coast Guard Reserves. I was professionally trained in motor vehicle accident reconstruction at two different state police academies. So I know a little bit about investigating motor vehicle accidents. So I'm going to talk to you about BufordPusser's fatal accident in 1974, but I don't want to bore you with all of the factors like um, skid marks and pavement grooves and airborne equations, friction, math conversions, those type of things. I'll try to keep my comments straight and where everyone can understand them. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on this video when I'm done. And tell your friends about this video also. But I'm the author of this book, Murder of Mrs. Buford Pusser. And that book has a lot of what we're going to talk about on these next upcoming videos and the past 2 or 3 videos that we've done. Be sure to check them all out. On YouTube, you go to The Baldwin Stories. So we're going to talk about August the 20th, the afternoon of August the 20th at the McNairy County Fair. 24-hour period, Buford Pusser had signed a contract to play himself in the upcoming Walking Tall movie. And in the evening on the 20th, he was signing autographs and playing ball with his daughter and that kind of thing up until about midnight. Now, during that time, several witnesses gave statements to the highway patrol that they smelled alcohol on Buford's breath. After a few minutes and before midnight, Dewana, her friend Tina, and daughter Shirley Durbin headed home on Highway 64. A few minutes after midnight, just a few minutes after his daughter left, which made it now August the 21st, Buford took off in his red 1973 Corvette, and he left in a hurry, spinning his tires in the parking lot. And at that time, no one was chasing him. There's a lot of people saw him leave, but no one else left behind him. No one felt like they saw anything at that point. Now, the posted speed limit on Highway 64 is 55 miles per hour. In no time at all, Pusser caught up with Shirley, Tina, and Dewana at a very high rate of speed. And he actually passed them so fast they barely saw his car. But Dewana said, "There goes Daddy." And Tina said, "There goes Buford." And Shirley said, "I hope he doesn't kill himself before he gets home." So once again, now at this point, there's no witness statements from either of those 3 people saying that someone was chasing him. So they went 5 miles up the road and they actually witnessed the aftermath of the accident. So as Buford was approaching Highway 64 intersection with Walton Road, he went airborne in his Corvette over a little hill known as Thrill Hill. And the Corvette landed and went into a skid approximately 345 feet westbound. I'm going to show you this picture. This is a copy of a picture of the photographs. In the background, you can see a little crest of the hill. He went up towards the eastbound lane, about where that large vehicle is on the side of the road there. And he lost control of his vet. He auto-corrected and it put him in a skid. Those are actually yaw marks, not skid marks, because his vehicle was turned sideways as it crossed the center line there. So it went 345 feet after it after it went airborne. And then it went another 200 feet across a gravel lot. And then it struck a stop sign before it got to Lawton Road. The car struck a road bank on the east side of Lawton Road, flipping over, And then it continued another 40 feet before it landed back on its wheels. Of course, he was ejected from the car and when it flipped over, and one reason was he didn't have a safety belt on. And safety belts weren't even required to wear back in the early 70s. The car did catch fire under the hood, and I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. But the witness, Danny Brower, who was first to discover the wreck, he actually heard the car go by the house. And he said it was traveling so fast it sounded like a jet when it went by his home. And he didn't know anybody following the sheriff, the former sheriff, or he never saw anybody else. So there was a Bob White from the Bob White Corvette shop. He gave his opinion from the evidence that the car was not tampered with and it didn't fail mechanically. So Mrs. Pusser, Helen, his mother, she was not satisfied with that. She got the TBI, the FBI, the Tennessee State Police, and a General Motors rep to perform an investigation into the tampering accusation. So they couldn't find any proof of any wrongdoing or any evidence of foul play. McNairy County Chief Deputy Jim Moffitt did his own investigation into the accident, and he said he believed that it was just an accident. But Helen received a large insurance benefit upon his death, so she used almost $500,000 to try to prove that someone murdered her son. She paid a man named Larry Brett, and that's a whole story in itself. But he couldn't find one shred of evidence to prove that anything was tampered with or sabotaged. Now I've got a picture of the car. They actually had it towed back, and eventually it wound up in the museum out there in Tennessee, in McNairy County. And this is a picture of the Corvette. And of course, after it caught fire, it did a lot of damage, but there was a lot of damage that was done to it before it caught fire, as you can tell. Now, during a telephone interview with Mr. Elam, Dr. Francisco stated that he thought Buford had his blood would have registered a 0.19 blood alcohol content. But Trooper Irwin, who actually was the state trooper who investigated the accident, he said that the BAC was 0.18, which is still double the limit for impaired driving. I mean, that's just crazy. Somebody would have that much alcohol in their system and try to drive a car. So there's no facts that were shown for any type of wrongdoing or sabotage, and there was no one chasing him from any of the eyewitnesses. I put a calculation on his speed on that Corvette at a little bit over twice the speed limit. So the speed limit was posted at 55. I'm thinking he was running about 110 or plus a few. It's hard to tell because he did hit that solid bank and it just put him to a sudden stop when he flipped over and bounced back on his tires. So plain and simple, I believe, and it does appear to me, that he died of drunk driving. All right, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and don't forget to share. I have plenty more coming up, I hope, and hope to see you soon, and be safe.